Alright, y'all, let's talk about Kehlani's new album. It was good until it wasn't. Y'all ready? It's lit.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bright here, the R&B Kid. I'm back again with another review for y'all. Like I said on today's video, I want to talk about Kehlani's new project. It was good until it wasn't. Shout out to Kehlani, man. You know, I remember being put on her all the way back in 2015 with the You Should Be Here project. I got put onto You Should Be Here before I got put onto Cloud 19, but that was when I got introduced to her. And 5 years later, Kehlani's still here doing her thing, man. So shout out to Kehlani for that. And she's now put out her second album. Damn, this is the sophomore album. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that something? Shout out to Kehlani, man. Sophomore project. I don't sense any type of sophomore slump in sight. But this is her sophomore album. She released it on May 8th, 2020 on Atlantic Records. And she got a lot of her usual suspects on here. We got Poppin' Oak, Boy Wonder, one of her day one producers, Jahan Sweet, did this thing all throughout this album. And we got a lot of new people too that she worked with. So this is a cool album where she had a variety of, you know, producers and songwriters and all that. So, and also shout out to Kehlani for being one of the few, like, you know, artists that was like brave enough to really like roll out her album in the middle of the pandemic, you know. So happy quarantine to y'all, by the way. Hope y'all doing it, you know, hope y'all doing good. Hope y'all are maintaining y'all sanity, you know, keeping yourselves happy, healthy, safe, doing what you gotta do, you know, to protect yourself during this hard time. But stay up, y'all. We're gonna be out of this soon. But hope y'all doing good. Sending my good vibes to y'all. But going back to Kehlani's album, I'm really excited to talk about this album with y'all, because this is a big album for the culture. And I'm excited that Kehlani's finally on her second album, and you know, her career has been steadily evolving, steadily building over the years. So I'm happy to see her at this moment. So let's get into it. I'm not gonna do a full track by track breakdown, but I'm gonna talk about like some opinions I have on like some of the tracks, and then I'm gonna talk about my opinion of the album as a whole after that. So yeah, man, let's get into it. Kehlani, it was good until it wasn't. Y'all ready? Let's go. I love the sample and the sexy vibe on Can I. That was dope. Shout out to Leo with that come over sample, and Tory Lanez did his thing on that track. He fit it very well too. Cool track. So although Bad News wasn't a highlight to me, man, the vocal work on that track as well as that calming ass piano was dope. Like I said, it wasn't a highlight, but that calming piano with all the vocal work throughout the whole track was crazy. Baby, let me change your life. So Change Your Life with Jhené Aiko, that was a cool song. It sounded like a really, like, you know, cute 90s bop. And Jhené Aiko didn't really feel that necessary on it, but the collab was still appreciated, because I'm glad we finally got to see Kehlani and Jhené finally collab on the track, because they've always been like, you know, they've always been like pitted against each other and always like put in the same lane. Understandably so, but I'm glad they showed that they're cool and that they collaborate on this cool track. Definitely wasn't like a highlight for me, but it definitely was a cool track. It felt like a 90s, it felt like a cool, like a 90s, you know, breezy bop. So it was cool. I appreciated it. All right, Hate the Club. I definitely gotta talk about Hate the Club. Masego, the god Masego himself. Masego's sax over that smooth R&B beat on Hate the Club was everything, y'all. Such a highlight. Definitely was an instant highlight off the album when I first heard it, and I still love it to this day. Definitely a highlight. And the smooth vocal arrangements throughout the whole track was so dope, especially over that bridge. The vocal work on that bridge and just throughout the whole track in general was crazy. Shout out to the backgrounds, they were bananas. And yeah, just the concept of the track was dope as hell and was so real. I wouldn't say I hate the club, as someone, I'm a homebody, and as someone who like only likes to be in the club because like your friends are there, because that one person you want to see is there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can relate to this track. But yeah, definitely a cool track, and it's just a relatable track with such a smooth beat that just sounded just different. It was a dope track. I love it. Oh yeah, I also had to say FNMU is a complete banger. Definitely one of my favorite tracks off the album, but I don't know if it actually needed to be a single. It's a banger, but I'm like, I don't think it was one of the best like representations of the album. I don't know if it needs to be like the single that came before the album, maybe a feature single, but definitely not with the singles that would have brought attention to the album. And also same thing with Everybody's Business, great track too, but I also don't think that needs to be a song that should have been a single before the album came out. But they're both great tracks, but I would have went with different songs to see the album as singles. That's just my opinion, but let me know what y'all think about that. Had to talk about Grievin'. Grievin' is a really different type of track for Kehlani, but I love what she did with it. I thought she killed it, and I love that she brought on James Blake for it too. I feel like his vibe fit the track perfectly, and I feel like they complement each other so well, and I love what they both came up with that track in terms of like the vibe, the concept, the way they executed it. Such a great collaboration. I know that's a collaboration I feel like I never would have thought of in a million years, but it worked so well. Shout out to Grievin'. Definitely was a highlight, and I'm just glad she linked with James Blake. I think it worked pretty well. So shout out to Grievin'. Great track. Okay, and I gotta talk about this. I'm so mad. I'm forever gonna have a beef with Kehlani for making Open, the first part of Open Passionate, and Water So Short. Those two tracks are two of my favorite tracks off the album, and they were, to me, they were like two of like the sonic and like conceptual like standout moments of the album, and they were both like 2 minutes long. I was so mad, Kehlani. I'm gonna forever have a beef with you for making Open so short and for making Water so short. Two of my favorite moments off the album. Damn, Lonnie, I'm so mad at you. How dare you make those songs so short when there's such a vibe? Oh my god, Open is nuts and Water is nuts. I love those tracks. Damn, why are they 2 minutes long, man? Come on. Alright, y'all, so those are some of my quick opinions on some of the tracks. When I talk about the album as a whole, man, I definitely have to say I agreed, like just like the Joe Budden podcast said, that there's a lot of toxic girl vibes on this album, and I think that's what Kehlani was definitely going for. So I appreciate the fact that she was really in her bag with her toxic girl vibes. Shout out to YG for just doing what had to be done. So we could all get in our feels with Queen Kehlani. Shout out to YG for doing what had to be done so we could get these bops, bro. Shout out to YG, man. But Kehlani, you know, on some real shit, I appreciate Kehlani for, you know, really giving us a peek to where she's been at mentally in her life with this album, with just the situation with YG and just a lot of other stuff. This was really one of those albums where I feel like she was really giving us a time capsule into like where she's at in her life right now, what she's going through, where her mental is at, how she processes things, and just how she thinks about a lot of the stuff she's been through and how like it relates to like her past life and where she's headed to. So really cool album in terms of, I feel like there being a really good time step as to like Kehlani really giving us like an audio, you know, piece of art, an audio visual piece of art that really shows like the quarantine, her shit with YG. Like this album is a really cool time capsule as to like where she was at right now in her life, you know. So I appreciate that about this album. Okay, now into some critiques I have for the album. To me, this album definitely was not a flop at all. I think this was a solid project, but I think the thing for me about this album is that I feel like it was missing like some of those like timeless, like discernible, like, you know, distinguishable, timeless classics that I feel like her debut and While We Wait like we're stacked full with from head to toe. This album has so many great songs, but I feel like a lot of them are just kind of like mid, and I was missing like some of those songs that just could give me that oomph that, like, you know, that an R&B song can really give you. A lot of these tracks, they're such a vibe, they feel good, but I feel like our album just has so many songs from head to toe. And also While We Wait just had those songs that just feel like they're gonna sound amazing like 10, 20, 30 years from now. That just were like more like in your face, and they felt more up front and they felt more present. A lot of these tracks we feel like they just kind of vibe and they chilling, they're there. But I was really hoping this album could have more of those songs that just felt more like present, more in your face, more memorable, more gut-wrenching, you know what I'm saying? Way more classic. But that's not to say that these songs don't knock for what they are and that they don't give you great, you know, production, songwriting, vocals as they are. But I just felt like I was missing that like next level of like oomph with some of these tracks, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I know in Kehlani's live stream she was talking about how, you know, a big critique that a lot of fans had of the album is that, you know, some people felt like it was too R&B or like there wasn't enough pop on it. But I actually don't think that was the issue at all. I think for me, the big critique that I have for this album is that even with all the different producers that she had on it, it still felt like there wasn't that much variability in the vibe and how like the songs felt and how they were delivered. It's almost as if like, it almost felt like everyone like created and produced this like really chill sound around her, but and she just, you know, she sung about how she was feeling on mad tracks, but it doesn't really feel like there was that much execution. It doesn't feel like there was that much like structure in the execution of the narrative, if that makes sense. And don't get confused, the album isn't whack at all, and that approach that I think her and the producers took is not whack at all. It's a choice that she made, and I think it worked for her. But the reason why I have it as a critique is because it just feels like it all could have been leveled up a little bit more. But what she gave us is solid. This album is solid. There's so many gems on it. A lot of these songs are very listenable. But like in terms of what I just said, I think it all could have been leveled up a little bit more in terms of like making like the narrative and the structure a little bit more clear and having more variability in like how the songs felt, how they were delivered, the vibe of the songs. I wish there was more variety in that. But with what she gave us, it was solid as hell. I don't know, maybe it's the brilliant title and the brilliant artwork that had me just thinking we were getting like more of a game-changing project than we actually got. It's still a dope listen. It's a solid project, and I'm glad that she really stuck true to her sound and to her vibe. So, you know, I love when I see artists really start to like find themselves as they're progressing their projects. They start to like find themselves, find their sound more, and really latch onto it. And I love that I'm seeing Kehlani being an artist that's actively like honing in on her vibe, her sound, what she wants out of her catalog. And you can see that she's really growing into learning how to really, like, you know, put herself on a record and just let it flow. So I think this album could have used a little bit more focus in the way it was like delivered and executed and arranged, like I said. But in terms of like, you know, how she emotionally connected, how she delivered, it was definitely a solid and appreciated album for sure. All right, y'all. And the last critique I have for the album is that even though I feel like the story of the album is very clear, especially once you listen to the whole thing and really get the whole project and soak it all in, the story of the album is clear as a whole. But I still feel like the album could have used a totally different sequencing that would have helped it flow a little bit better. You know, it kind of seemed like a lot of times on the album that we were going from like one vibe or one topic to the next very abruptly. And maybe she was going for that on the album, but I think the album would have worked better with a more well thought out track list. And the interludes were cool too, but I don't see myself going back to them, but the interludes were cool. I appreciate a good interlude. So the one thing I really love about this album is that I feel like Kehlani was really bringing those raw, head bopping, you know, in your feels, smooth, you know, timeless quality R&B vibes to the table. I feel like she's really bringing those vibes to the table with the dope vocal arrangements, especially those backgrounds throughout the whole album. She was killing the backgrounds throughout the whole album, and also with like her innate expressiveness, and also just how like she flowed over the tracks too. She really brought those like raw, you know, old school R&B vibes to the table, and it served her well in this project. And I know on her live stream she was talking about how she really wanted this album to be very like R&B centric. I feel like she definitely achieved that in terms of like really having to be like a moody, you know, like autobiographical experience. Like I said, I feel like it could have been leveled up a little bit more with the track list sequence and with the overall like way she executed the narrative. But she was bringing those real emotional, raw, you know, from the heart, gutter R&B vibes with the vocals, lyrics, and delivery all at the same time. So I definitely got to big her up for that. She did her thing with the way she just brought these dope R&B vibes. I was satisfied, and I love what she really did in terms of getting into her bag with that side of her artistry. So I loved it. But yeah, nonetheless, y'all, I'm extremely proud of Kehlani for just still having songs that jam on this album, and that definitely will only get better with time, I feel. So I'm definitely proud of her for that, and also just for being brave enough, like I said, brave enough to really roll this album out in the face of COVID. Like, you know, I'm very proud of her for the way her and her assistants and her team really rallied around her and really got creative with how they rolled this album out, with the video treatments, the way they shot the videos, the way, you know, Kehlani's been doing a bunch of promo everywhere through virtual interviews. She's really been finding a creative way to really make sure she could have, you know, executed this era to the best of her ability while in quarantine. I think her and the team have done a great job. So I'm very proud of her for really rolling this album out the way she did in this very interesting time. So yeah, man, I will always remember this album for being one of the albums that really came out in the middle of the pandemic. So I think that's dope. And it's a really solid project, like I said. Let me get into some of my favorite tracks and rating before I dip off out of here. This album was hard to mention my favorite tracks because I feel like I said, I feel like a lot of the songs are like evenly good. Like they're all kind of like evenly well matched. I feel like this album is very evenly keeled. So it was kind of hard to like point out my favorite tracks. But if I had to, I guess I'd say Toxic. I've always loved Toxic since it came out early this year. Water, definitely Water. Hate the Club, definitely. Serial Lover, love that track. That was a highlight. I love the beat by Boy Wonder on that track. Shout out to Boy Wonder. That was definitely a highlight. I loved it. Such a vibey, smooth track. FNMU, a banger. And Open, Passionate. I'm not so crazy about Passionate, but Open, that first part of that track, insane. I love that track. So those are my favorite tracks. But overall, this album was pretty solid as a whole. My rating for this album, it was hard to kind of go and pick a final one. I was going back and forth between a 3.5 and a 4, and because I feel like this album isn't like up to being a 4, I wanted to give it a 4, but I feel like it's a little bit too high because of like the critiques I had, like I said. So I'm gonna go with the 2.5 out of 5. It feels fitting for me. Let me know what y'all think about that rating. I feel like it's a fair rating. This album is definitely nothing less than 3.5. It's a solid project, but I just don't think it was up to being a 4, but I think it's a great 3.5. But let me know what y'all think about my rating. Y'all agree, y'all disagree, and what y'all would give it down below. Alright, y'all, so that was my review for Kehlani's new album. It was good until it wasn't. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know what y'all think about the album. Did y'all think it was amazing? Did y'all think it was okay? Did y'all think it was whack? Let me know what y'all thoughts are down below. Let me know y'all favorite tracks. Let me know what y'all thought about my review. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. If you agree with what I said, and let me know what you think about Kehlani's career right now. What you think about her releasing this album during quarantine. Yeah, just let me know all your thoughts down below, okay? Appreciate y'all. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well, okay? And like I always say, guys, live your best life, drink more water, stay woke, and if you're mad or sad, go listen to your favorite song to make you feel better, okay? Go listen to your favorite song. Alright, y'all, but this has been your boy Bright, the R&B Kid. Thank you for watching, but for now, I'm signing off, baby. Bye, y'all. Peace.
I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, 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 no. I came to vibe, you came to function, just do that, baby. Don't worry about nothing, no, no, no. Relax just a little bit, you don't gotta worry, you can just